Hi everyone, this is daveac.blip.tv. This is my vblog 134 for Friday, the 11th of February 2011. And events, tech, podcasts and wine. Yes, wine at the end in around 15 minutes. And well, let's get on with the Doctor Who and podcasting news. Well, the Gallifreyan MC, Doctor Who Podshock, have put out their latest episode, and that is episode 237 with Lewis and Ken. No James on this one, and of course they're getting very near now to their trip over to Los Angeles to go to Catch 22. That's the biggest Doctor Who convention in the States, and that will be the weekend of the 18th to the 20th of February. Unfortunately, neither Ian nor myself from the Culton Collective will be going to that, although at least one of our members will be going, and that's T. Jury, Tim, who does Tim's Take On. Hopefully, as well as gathering stuff for his Tim's Take On podcast, he will perhaps make one or two little items for us to mention on the Culton Collective. So, great news for those people, and just there's lots and lots of information if you go to www.gallifrey1.com. But one thing I just wanted to highlight, and that is a guest change. Jacqueline Pearce, who played Servalan in Blake 7, and who was also in The Two Doctors, of course, cannot make the show. So she has been replaced by Gareth Thompson, Blake no less, and he will be going to it. So I know Ken Deep's a big Blake 7 fan like myself, so that's yet another reason why it's upsetting not to make it there this year. I know James is very sad that he can't make it, and well, you know, I do hope that those people there get tweeting and posting and putting up all the stuff that they can on the internet. Of course, this year it's the year that Radio Free Skaro do their live show as well. I think theirs is on the Friday, whereas the Doctor Who Podshock is on the Sunday. So hope you give that a listen. Podshock 237. Well, the Culton Collective have been busy, of course. We did on Sunday, and by the way, we had a little bit of trouble this last Sunday. It was a little bit of what you might call a perfect storm. The internet was very laggy. It was a few hours before the American Super Bowl went on air. I don't know whether that meant that the internet was busier than usual. A number of people on the call had very choppy audio, and basically what we do with these shows is we record them, and when you listen back to them, you're basically listening to the live show, unedited, uncut. But this one, the sound had dropped so poor that I had to block it and do some editing. I did about 10 hours editing on that, and in all events I cut out more than 30 minutes of unusable audio. So I'm afraid the audio quality is not the normal standard, and there are still some odd wobbly bits in where somebody's perhaps been talking for 20 or 30 seconds and the voice just breaks up for a second or two within that. Then I've obviously left that in to make continuity, otherwise the whole sentence would lose its sense of meaning. So most of the audio is okay, if a little bit scratchy and not our usual standard. And we recorded that, of course, on TalkShoe ID 54821 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but of course you can get it now from iTunes. During the week we also put up another of our commentaries. Ian himself have been doing commentaries on the miniseries Jekyll, and we put up the commentary for episode 5. This is where you get your DVD, you put the particular episode in, turn the volume fairly low so you can just about hear the actors and the actual narration of the show, and listen to our commentary at the same time. We give you a count in so that you're in sequence with us. So that we did during the midweek, and this coming Sunday, just to mention, on the 13th of February, we will be doing at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the top 25 TV shows of 2010, and that's according to Tube Talks list. And if you go to the our TalkShoe site, 54821, and you click on the episode information, it will give you a internet link to that list of 25 TV shows. Coincidentally, well, let me talk about the FSX Awards first, but there's another event happening on the 13th of February. But let's go to I'm going to go to the where's it on? The Doctor Who news page, of course. That's at the new address www.doctorwhonews.net. Just to go to there to read from there some of the awards. It was the FSX Weekender last Sunday, and we got a report from Tim at the beginning of our show, Sci-Fi Superstars. So he gives a little bit of a report there, and of course you can go to his Tim's Take On to find out more. Anyway, Matt Smith beat David Tennant as the Best Actor. Karen Gillan won her category in the Best Actress, and Stephen Moffat was there to pick up a couple of awards, one of which was the Sci-Fi Phenomenon Award. And one other thing was that this was the Best TV Episode category, and although Vincent and the Doctor, which was representing Doctor Who, was an excellent episode, I think quite rightly it was beaten out by the final episode of Ashes to Ashes. And remember, if you look back through the Cultdom site, you'll see that Ian himself have done quite a few things on Ashes to Ashes with the Cultdom, and we actually did a commentary on that final episode. Okay, those were all announced at the FSX Weekender. So if you go to doctorwhonews.net, you can see a little clip of some of the awards being given. Right, the other awards that I mentioned that will be happening next Sunday when we're doing our collective is the BAFTA Awards. Yes, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts 2011. And I'm just going to mention a few of these here. There's going to be an Academy Fellowship awarded. That's like a Lifetime Achievement Award to Sir Christopher Lee. Don't think I need to explain who he is and the sort of films that he's been in. A fantastic, long-serving British actor, all the way from things like Wicker Man to the Hammer Horrors and so on. Also getting an outstanding contribution to British cinema are the Harry Potter films, even though there's still one more to come out. And then I'll just mention the best film category, The Black Swan, Inception, The King's Speech, The Social Network, True Grit. That's a remake, of course, the True Grit one. Well, of those, the only one I've actually seen is Inception, so I think that's the one I'll be rooting for, because I thought that was a fabulous film. So that's the BAFTA Awards on Sunday, the 13th of February. But that's enough of those. Let me just go on to some little items of tech news. I haven't got a book and I haven't got any classical music today, but I have got reference to the Blu-ray I talked about a couple of weeks ago, and of course we've got the wine at the end. Well, if you are a person that connects to the internet using the browser Internet Explorer, let me tell you that the final release candidate, that's sort of after beta but before it goes completely live, Internet Explorer 9 is now currently out. So you can actually download release candidate for Internet Explorer 9. I must admit I do prefer the browser Firefox. That's the one I stick to, having tried a number of others. There's been not so much tech news, but an announcement about our ruling about Twitter. Somebody was arguing the case that Twitter things weren't public, which to me seems absolutely ridiculous. The whole point of Twitter is to put out your little thoughts and ideas and recommendations to the world. So the fact that somebody objected to their tweets being quoted from and so on, well, the judge has quite rightly, well, in my opinion, quite rightly said that Twitter, things on Twitter are now in the public domain, for want of a better word, and can be quoted and used by other people. Sounds quite sensible to me. And one other piece of tech news for people in the UK, the consortium that used to be Project Canvas, Project Kangaroo, and they have now changed the name to View TV. I just wanted to get that right. View TV. This is to do with a couple of the TV channels and some of the broadband providers in the UK getting together to come together with a way of getting content either through a box or through the internet to your house, and that has been put back to 2012. So a little bit of a blow to them. I'm not sure whether they can't agree on things or whether it's something to do with technical features of the actual box they're hoping to come out with. Okay, that's enough about that because we're over 10 minutes already. I'm going to talk about this Blu-ray I mentioned a few weeks back, and then I postponed it because I was doing about Meglos. The Pacific, by the same people who brought us Band of Brothers, comes in that sort of tin box set with then there's 6 DVDs in this complex wrapping that opens up, and there's all the information about it on the back. Hoping that focuses. Includes the epic 10-part mini-series plus quite a few extras on there. Now obviously I can't give you any real idea of the quality, and because the sheer length of the thing, it's going to be difficult to pick an example clip. I hope you'll excuse what I've done. I've actually just set up the sort of rolling menu system. Now it's not as boring as it sounds, because it does show some of the superb clips of some of the beach action and the soldiers and so on, and it gives an idea of what the look and feel of it is. It's got these saturated colours, and it's got this sort of grainy documentary type look to it. Now obviously you won't see the full quality of that here on this little clip that I've put, but hopefully if we can get it in focus, it will work well enough to get an idea of the look and feel of it. We'll just play 30 seconds or so. We'll stop in a moment. It does really look brilliant. Could you get away with watching the DVD? I suppose you could, but for my money, I think Blu-ray. Let's focus very quickly, please, camera. Ooh, that's the Pacific. Okay. One little piece of tech that I just want to go, and I wanted to show that little bit first because Blip TV, which this show you might be watching it on my DAC100 YouTube or elsewhere on the internet, but the actual place where I do the videos is daveac.blip.tv, of course. And one of the things I want to show you is that they've now brought out a little device for showmakers, like showmaker. That sounds a bit pretentious, doesn't it? But people who do these things to actually easily choose a thumbnail. And I'm just realising now that I should have shown you that before I moved the camera back on its mount. But I'm just going to show you my archive page of most recent shows. And let me hope this is going to be, let me see if that's coming to focus. I'm going to move that out of the way now. So normally I have these little standardized thumbnails and I just put the different dates on. Well, if you can see the last 4 ones I've done, I've picked particular freeze frames, and I'm not sure if that's coming out, but this is like a darkened halo effect. You can put some little effects. You can make them sepia if you want, and you can pick out a frame that you think gives some idea of what that particular episode was like. So one of the little quizzes or trivia for my vblog today is, I wonder what little thumbnail I will use when I end up getting this up online. We'll have to see. But I've got one item to go to before we go to the wine, and that is just to remind you that, not to mind you, just to mention that me and my mate Jack are going to another one of the virgin wine tastings. You have to print out your own ticket. That's www.virginwines.co.uk, and the date for that is where is it? Let me read it for you. It's Saturday the 19th of March at Manchester Town Hall, and it's about £15 at the moment, although the tickets might go up to £20 nearer the day. And the last 2 years I've been to them. If you go to my DAT 100 YouTube site and you search through the videos, you'll see some little clips. There's the booklet from the tasting in 2009, which was at a different venue. And this one is the one from 2010. And I've just opened it up at a page where it had what for me was the best wine. And I'm hoping that's going to focus. There it is. The one at the bottom there, Mustela Armoni, is it? Reserva 2005. Country Italy. Lovely. Best wine yet. And I think it was £27.99, £28. That's a $40 wine. And it was definitely the best. And it was, unusually for me, a wine from Italy. Because I very rarely drink wines from Italy. I drink them from all over the New World. I drink, obviously, French wines. I've been drinking a few Spanish wines recently. And I like a lot of South American wines as well. But not often from, say, Portugal or Italy. And, well, you might think there's been some planning with this podcast, this vlog, because I just happen to have an Italian wine to drink, which is amazing because I so rarely drink them. And it's, oh yes, if you notice my lip, oh, you won't because it's out of focus now. Let's get this in place. It's a Chianti, 2009, 12.5%. I'm sure this camera used to focus faster than that. Freeze frame. I should have said right at the beginning, if I look a bit like Tom Baker here with a little bite on my lip, it's where I cut myself shaving earlier. I apologise for that. And the focusing has gone again. This camera's doing all sorts of little tricks today. I'm there. Right, okay. Well, it's been poured out, and I've been getting those lovely plummy, fruity smells coming across. And here it is poured out. And I poured it out before I realised I could have used my little Virgin Wines glass from the last year's tasting. But here we go. Now, that plummy jamminess is there, but there's quite a tartness to that. Actually, I think it says on the back of the bottle, this really is a wine to drink with food. I think this is getting my taste buds going. Let me have another taste. Yeah, there's no oakiness there. It's basically fruit with a slight tart edge. It's not overly jammy at all. It's as it says, soft and fruity, but a little tart. And it says here, great with food, why not try with spaghetti bolognese or lamb cutlets? Well, I've got to go out to the shop later. Maybe I'll get the makings for spaghetti bolognese and try some more of that with some food, because I think that really does need some food. It's not so much a drinking wine on its own, but it's a Chianti, and I don't think we have fava beans in the UK. I think that's the same as broad beans we call them. So I think we better wrap up. We're nearly at 20 minutes. That's a bit long, David. I wonder what the thumbnail will be at the end. Well, that's it for daveac.blip.tv 134. Catch you next week. Bye all.